We're here in studio with Dean Lewis. Dude, welcome back.
Good to see you again.
Time for our quarterly chat.
Oh, I know. I love our quarterly catch-ups. The last time was on a roof.
Yes.
Which was great.
We were on the roof here at the radio station. Sandy had an engagement.
You're out of town.
I was out of town, and I was sad because he has gushed about you since he found out about you. Like, legit bromance, man crush. He wants to be your best friend.
Well, this is why I love coming in, because and you always ask good questions about the music, and you know it, so it's great.
And here's the thing: is I broke it down. I drove home last time. I'm like, why do I like this guy so much? It's threefold. I wish I could play guitar like that. I wish I could sing like that. I wish I could write those songs.
Yeah.
B, the songs are the EP. It's not often that you listen to an EP and go, God, that was a great song. That was a great song. That was a great song. Usually you listen and you're like, that song was great. The
one or
rest
two.
of them,
Yeah.
You phoned the rest in.
And then you're a cool guy. And then
just say it. Hair envy. Hair envy.
I was getting to hair envy.
Okay. Sorry.
What are you, about 6'4"?
I'd say about 6'2", 6'3", but if you wear the boots, sometimes you can pop a 6'4".
He's got fashion sense. He's got great hair. All these things that I currently lack. And then I get to see you from what I consider the ground floor. The first time you came in, you were by yourself. We just chatted a little bit. Yes. Nobody had heard of you yet, except for your deep fan base.
Yep.
And then just a week, 2 weeks ago, I saw you on Ellen.
Yeah.
And I just feel invested.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Well, no, it's
what I'm
totally.
saying?
I was actually just saying that before. Like, I've been here 3 times in the last year, probably. Right at the start, I was here by myself.
Yeah.
We were having a chat, and then you have the songs out, and then it starts to grow, and then Be Alright I'm talking about, and then Ellen just a couple of weeks ago, which was insane, and like I don't think I've ever felt that nervous. Like, I mean, I'd felt that nervous 4 years ago when I first started doing gigs.
Sure,
like the heart racing and the hands like start to get a little bit shaky, but it was like, because that's as big as it gets in America.
How does it happen? Like, how do you get on the radar to where your management gets that phone call?
Yeah,
from
I mean, the song "Be Alright" started just. I mean, obviously, it's just gone crazy.
Yeah.
But like how it happens, I don't really know the magic. Like, my manager just called me out of the blue and was like, we got it." I'm like, "We got what?" He's like, "We got Ellen." I'm like, "Oh wow, okay." And then all of a sudden, it's happening. I know they're super hard to get on. I should ask him and say, what did you do? What did you do?
Like, is she a fan? Was it one of her interns that was like, Ellen, you got to check out this guy?
Isn't that the magic of it, though? That's like the magic of being an artist. Like, these cool things just happen. And I love because it's like you're just in your zone, right?
That's so true.
You're living your dream, your truth, your music. You're amazing, and then all of a sudden, Ellen's happening, and this tour's all these sold out dates on your tour.
Yeah. And I'm like, how does that all happen? It's actually you kind of just go through this like, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. Like, it's also, when we got like Riverdale with like waves, and you get these like shows that add your music. It's like you go, I just go like, how'd that happen? I'm like, I have no idea, but I'm sure someone's out there doing it. You know what I mean? I'm thankful for them. But I'm just walking through life going, oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I'm amazed that was it your first open mic was 4 years ago?
Yeah, it was about four or 5 years ago. The first one.
4 years is a long time, but it's really not. Like, it amazes me how fast. And obviously born in Australia. I don't know if you live here now, or do you still both?
Sort of live nowhere. Like, because we're on the road for like the next like 6 months to a year.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it was only about 4 or 5 years ago. But I was writing songs in my room for like 10 years.
Okay.
But it was just like, I never thought it was that good. Like, I think we talked about this last time. It's like a lot of people are doing this, and they don't know they can do this. It's like, this doesn't happen to people like me. Like, I needed a big team around me to be like, you can do this. And the first step was actually going and doing open mic night.
Was it like a courage thing for yourself? Like, you were nervous and you had to build up the courage to like finally get there and do it?
Totally. I mean, it was this person who was helping me at the time as like a friend, and she was like, you got to go do this open mic night. And I didn't want to do it, but I did it. And, people are talking, no one's listening. And I sucked at that time, like, because it's your first gig, your hands aren't right, but you've got to take that first step. And when you do, it's a good lesson. It's when I learned that you come out the other side, even if you're not great, you come out the other side a little bit better. And so I sort of do that now. I still get nervous, like the Ellen thing, and I get really nervous, but the more you do it, the better you come off. So that's what I always remember, to follow that.
Well, and it trains you too, because of course, in a perfect scenario, audience is so into it, they're singing along. But when you're starting off, especially, I'm a comic too, so open mics, I understand.
It's hard.
When they're not paying attention, when they're on their phone, we had one here that they closed, but it was a laundromat cafe. So
the
people,
brainwash?
So people were washing their clothes. People
While
would walk
listening
in
to
off the
comedy.
streets and just and it's hard as a performer to like you want to make fun of it or call it out, but then you're like, but what about I got to concentrate on why am I here?
Yeah.
So you got to zone all that stuff out, and that's hard to do.
No, absolutely. But open mic comedy's the hardest thing in the world, like, to do. Like, I really respect comedians. Like, that's next level. I actually went to the Comedy Store and saw just me and my brother, we went to the Comedy Store and we saw Bill Burr was there.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's amazing. And what was the first guy? I forget. But it's the comedians that crush. Like, it's even guys that are sort of not. It's such a hard art form. I really, really respect comedians. But that's exactly right. You're going in front of people that don't want to be there. They don't want to listen to you.
They don't know you.
They don't know you.
They don't care. They got other things going on.
Exactly.
You should have seen Chris Martin's face. So we interviewed Coldplay at Levi's Stadium when they came through, and Chris Martin, when he found out Sandy was a comedian, the interview actually switched. He started interviewing her because he was fascinated. And
it's so weird to me that people think that way.
It's like that is the art form with no net.
No, I know. And I've always thought, like, I wish I had some kind of musical abilities, or at least a fog machine or something to make my stuff feel better than, like, more profound than it is. You know,
tell a bad joke, you could just fire off the fog machine and hear for like a couple of minutes.
If you have a crowd, like, what do? Does it affect you at all if the crowd just doesn't seem to be? I don't know. Does their energy affect you at all?
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So I'm just learning this now. Like, the thing that I've started learning was, like, we just did this tour in Australia, and some shows, like, I'd always bounce off the crowd.
Yeah.
And when they come to your shows, generally they're, like, really pumped.
Right.
But sometimes we did a show on a Tuesday or a Monday, and they were a little bit less energetic. And I had this one gig where I was like, I was kind of like, I got off stage and I was like, oh, that was just, I didn't really feel it. And then the next day I was like, I'm just going to, no matter what they do, and this is a big moment for me, no matter what energy it is, I'm just going to sort of ignore it. Not ignoring the crowd, like, disrespectfully, but kind of like not taking my energy from them, but giving them my energy. So if they're not giving you a lot, just kind of stare at the back of the room and give it all I've got.
Good for you.
And
what a breakthrough.
It was a real breakthrough moment for me, and it's changed my approach to stuff. And so not sometimes you're not going to get the reaction because it's a Monday night at 8 p.m. and they have work the next day.
Right.
And you've just got to, I learnt for me, like, sometimes they're not going to give you exactly what you want. So you've just got to give it to them. And then at the end, they sort of come to you more and more. But you've got to lead it.
Totally. Well, it makes you go inward too, right? Like, you're like, okay, how can I not worry about that for a second and get back to what I love, and then hopefully that will affect them in a positive way, and it usually does. But you have to just not worry, and that's hard for me to shut that off sometimes.
So hard to do.
Have you ever been on stage and just acknowledged the fact that you're dying up there?
Yeah. Okay. So we did. Actually, this is 2 years ago today. Me and my dad were in England, and it was one of my first proper gigs, actually, with, like, since I, like, things that were happening. I got a record deal and stuff like that. We were at this place called the Tooting Broadway in London, and it was a bar, and I was opening on my piano, and I was playing my own songs at this point, and everyone was just talking, and it was like, every now and then you get to the end of Waves. This is what I used to do. It's still, it still can happen, but I'll get to the end of Waves or the second chorus of Waves, and then instead of going into the bridge, I just kind of go, carries us away. You know what I mean? Or, like, we did this one gig where we did that with Be Alright. Like, everyone was talking. It was, like, really early on in the piece, and, like, you just get to the second chorus and you just finish it there.
And you just ended it.
You just finish it.
Yeah.
And it's brutal, but, like, when it's in those situations, this one was like more of a corporate thing.
Right.
So it's just like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So,
but that's cool. I bet you they didn't notice. That's like,
they didn't notice. They didn't care.
That's a neat little insight. What would that be? A hack?
That is a pro tip.
Like an artist hack?
It's a pro tip for not giving it your all, which probably doesn't sound that good. But if it's my own shows, I always give it my all.
Of course.
I've had one or two of those, to be honest, where I'm just like, I know I shouldn't, but I was just like, yeah, it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
For me now, like, you never know. Like, like, I was supporting Noah Khan like 4 or 5 months ago in America, and the shows are generally 90% good, but every now and then you get a bad one.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just part and parcel.
Part of life too.
It is,
even in big shows, I'm sure you never know. You just never know.
You never know. Totally.
I'm always fascinated by these rock star pro tips, only because that movie that you love,
pro tips.
A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
And they always talked about how Bradley Cooper got all of his rock star pro tips from Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, who literally took him on stage and said, here's what it's like to be a rock star. Here's what it's like to be up here. Here's what's going through your mind. Here's how you deal with it. I always thought that's interesting.
That's so cool.
He spent months immersing himself in the musician's world. It was amazing, like, how he prepped for that.
Well, so Eddie Vedder, like, actually took him on stage.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And to get that from that guy.
That's the dude.
I think he worked with Willie Nelson's son in the movie. It was his actual guitarist in the movie. I think. Don't quote me, but I just think it's cool how like it really takes a lot of work. It's exhausting.
It is, and there's so many variables that can go wrong on stage. Like and now I'm playing like I used to just do solo, me and my guitar. Now because it's getting bigger and we can bring a band out to play shows. It's like. There's so many variables. You're playing to a click. We don't play with a lot of backing tracks.
Right. Yeah.
Like because we want to be quite But there's a lot of more things that can go wrong with a band. But we're so dialed in now. It's when it's all working and your in-ears sound good and like the crowd's like and everyone's having fun. It's the best. It's the best feeling.
Yeah.
Singing back. It's awesome.
Well, and you're at the Independent tonight in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Sold out. It was like look at all these dates, these sold out dates. That's got to feel so good to look at. Like all this hard work and just seeing it's paying off.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. It was a year and a half ago we came and we did this weird it was one show in Portland. It was it wasn't really a headline thing, but it sort of was. It was at Portland and Oakland.
Okay.
Really close to here. We played in Yoshi's. Mm-hmm. There were 20 people in Yoshi's and there was 10 people in Portland. And I think both of those they've sold out San Francisco and we sold out Portland as well.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see, and we just did 2 El Reys in LA.
Wow.
In Boston, it's a big venue. It's really, really cool.
Also, you have the verified check mark now. Let's talk about it.
When did that happen?
How did that feel?
When it happened, I can't even remember. But it was a few months ago. I'm legit now.
You are.
I'm checked.
Actually, I saw your post. You're like, I'm at a Grammys post party. Am I cool yet?
Oh my god, yeah. I can't. Look, those things are so weird. I think as an Australian, we're not suited to those parties because it's like. I don't know. It's just there's so many famous people walking around.
Did you get starstruck? Did you recognize anyone?
I saw some people, and then we just went home.
Yeah,
we were just
Who did you see? Because we need names.
We saw. Niall Horan was there. We saw Maggie Rogers, who I'm a massive fan of.
Maggie.
Yeah. There was so many people I didn't know that were really cool. They were dressed really cool. So I was like, oh, that person's famous. But I don't know. It's cool to be there and stuff like that. But it's definitely. Different world for me.
I wanted to ask you: does the song's success does it literally open doors for you? Because in our business, in this industry, me starting out, for example, think of the smallest town in Australia that you can think of, and that's where I started radio. Right. So I started radio in Salinas, which is a couple hours south of here. I could never get anybody on the phone.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk to that guy. But the second I got my job in San Francisco, I can get I'm being facetious here. I can't get anybody on the phone. But did the same thing happen to you where all of a sudden the song goes top 5? Now Kanye wants to do a remix.
Yeah.
But honestly though, are you getting more opportunities, and what kind of opportunities would you?
Yeah.
Ellen being a big one, obviously.
No, totally. No, you mean collaborating. There's been, we had...
Getting on artist radar to do collaborations, for example.
Yeah, we have. There's been a few people that have sort of offered things, but not too much. I'm also, a bit of a weirdo with this stuff. I sort of have said to my managers, I don't want to, and this might be to detriment of myself, doors definitely have opened, and totally. And there's more people to work with. Now I can probably, people producers, for instance, that that are the big name who wouldn't work with me before because, there's obviously they're busy. So now they probably would, and there's other artists that are reaching out for collaborations. But all the people that I aspire to be, and have been inspired by, singer-songwriters of the past, I really liked that they did their first album without doing features, without doing big collaborations. Just them. And I'm
more pure.
And my worst fear is imagine someone does a remix of one of my songs, or I do a feature on my album, a One Republic Timbaland kind of thing, and I just don't want to do that. Even though I love both them, and One Republic is amazing. I just want the first thing to be mine. Do you know what I mean?
That totally makes sense.
Yeah, but hopefully it doesn't mean that it completely it doesn't do its thing. But if it fails, then at least it's.
I think if it feels right when it feels right.
Yeah.
You'll do a collaboration.
Yeah, totally.
Now,
I think album 2 or something.
You're not ready, or you don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
You got to protect the art.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have the second. Excuse me. We have the 6-song EP, which is called Some Kind of Different. Yeah. I prefer the acoustic versions because I'm melancholy like that. And then you have a couple new songs. You have Be Alright, which we're playing on Star.
Yeah.
You have 7 Minutes.
Yes.
Which just got launched last month.
Yes.
I have to tell you, from a bromance perspective, how excited I was to be able to play your song Be Alright on our show at 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, I love it.
I gushed this much too much about it. I think I went on for 10 minutes about how great I thought you were. But we got a Facebook message from a mom that said, Marcus, you're right. Dean Lewis's music is amazing. I don't know what it is about this song, but my daughter had to change the station because mommy was crying.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And she goes, it's not really conducive to driving your kids to school in the rain and trying to keep the tears out of your eyes. My daughter literally looked at me like, Mommy, are you okay?
Yeah.
She goes, I can't wait to hear more of his music. So just
that's
like
awesome.
exposing your stuff to people here is really fun.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw the sun? And I ask you that because we are having the coldest winter of all time in this country when it would normally be summertime in Australia.
Yes.
Is it summer there right now?
It's really hot.
Oh, okay.
It's really, really hot over there. But that's really interesting what you said. Like I've had a lot of people people messaging about what the songs meant to them, and people crying, and it shows crying and also smiling, which is really cool. But yeah, I haven't seen the sun. I mean, we've been here. I mean, we were in LA, and we were like the last few days, and we were like, wow, I've never seen it like rain like this, and it was really weird.
Yeah, we're not used to it. And by the way, everywhere else in the country hates California because this is our storm.
We get
the sun's
freaked out
out.
when it's 50
We're still
degrees.
mad. Yeah. So this isn't
Everybody
real
else.
weather.
Everyone's wearing scarves and stuff like that.
Yeah, like we can't wait to put our boots on, and everyone else is like, really, I'm shoveling snow. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Quick question about "Be All Right," because the lyrics, of course, I paid total attention to, and it made me curious about how the breakup process goes in a man's perspective.
Yeah.
Because when you were talking about your friend taking your phone away, is that like a thing that happens? Because I'm like, oh my gosh. That's what my girlfriends say to me, like, just put the phone down. It's not helping you. Just stop. Yeah. So do you go through those same moments too, where you're just like, it's a compulsion to like check or to...
Yeah, well, that's a funny one. Like the friend in that song is actually my older brother.
Okay.
Reese. And we didn't say put the phone away. I put that in the song, but actually what he said was...
Give me the phone.
This was 6 years ago, this relationship, this one. I mean, it's about a few different things, but this one, that part in particular... And he just said to me, because I was a lot younger and dumber. Do you know what I mean? But he goes to me, give me her number, and he'll put it in his phone, and then he goes, delete it off your phone, but he still has it. So that's what he kind of said. Like it was kind of like, and I just put the phone away was a better way of saying it.
Did you do that in real life?
Yeah, I gave him the number, and it was just a technique that he had.
But that's actually really smart.
That way it still exists.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily have
You
that.
know what my friend did once? She, some guy dumped her. She was all sad. So she took his number out of her phone, and then she decided she wanted it back. So she went into her Verizon account and looked at all her texts to find it. I'm like, wow, that's
deep.
Next level.
That's really next level. Well, that's a bit scary, isn't it? What happened? Did they end up getting back together?
No, she's married to someone else now.
That was
Again, younger,
bound to
dumber,
happen.
crazier.
That's the
we
thing.
mellow out later, but it's
totally mellow
It's
out.
embarrassing while we're young, you
It
know?
is actually, even saying the story now, I'm kind of a bit embarrassed, you know what I mean? But I'm like, but it happened, you know, and I'm a bit of an open book with that stuff. Like, even my songs, like, I'm like, I'll just put it in there. And I won't even think about it until it's out. Then I'll be like, oh, God, I said that. You know, what am I doing?
But look at it, like, we're playing it on the radio, and even us listening to it, it reminds us of us.
Yeah, it is connecting. Yeah, it's cool. And that relatability is like, that's what I keep hearing people saying it's relatable. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because when you write a song, at least for me, it's just kind of a bit selfish. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, I hope other people will relate to this, or I hope this person's going to feel this thing. It's literally just, the song's real, and I want it to be really good. Like, if I think it's good, then I'll put it out. Do you know what I mean? And then when people relate to it, that's like the secondary benefit that is almost becomes the main thing. After the song's out, that's sort of the reason.
Well, then it takes on a mind of its own, right?
Yeah,
like, then it's out, and people can interpret it any way they want, which I'm sure is weird, too, because if it's supposed to be coming from a certain place, and who knows? Like, I'm sure fans... I don't know if you have any crazy fans yet, or if you have any unique fans, but it's just going to keep growing. Yeah,
it is. It is. Well, there's lots of fan clubs and stuff coming up, which is cool. And people take different interpretations, especially from my song Waves, where people are like, because it's like it comes and goes in waves. And that's actually was about the excitement of youth trying to get the feeling back again. But people took different things from it. Like, it was about depression. They thought it was about, relationships and so many different things.
Yeah, I thought the circle of life.
So,
so it's neat.
Yeah.
For me, it was, this used to be amazing. How do we get back there?
Exactly. That's the feeling.
Is that
that's the feeling?
Because of course, I'm such a fangirl. I also watch the video, so maybe that did it for me.
No, but it is that is actually the core message is. But you can apply that to sort of anything, right? You can apply it to a relationship, but for me, it was about life. Right. When you're like 15 and you're like that exciting feeling of going to a party. I remember that nervous feeling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That like, oh god,
The butterflies.
The butterflies. Where are the butterflies?
Yeah.
And I noticed that they're happening on Ellen. That's where you got to get the butterflies now. So I'm like, oh god.
That's so great, though. You know why? Because when we lose the butterflies, I think we lose something really important that's always in us. We want to still be excited about things. Like, so having more of those moments and those experiences and the fact that you can channel them with your music and your art, like that's a gift.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I'm glad. And hopefully, in a weird way, it sort of did this 360 thing where like I was then doing all these exciting things. It led to this moment. So it's really like that song actually,
Do you have a writer list for your green room stuff or no?
Oh, we're really boring. We have literally fruit salad because I don't eat before shows and none of us really drink that much. Like, and then we get whiskey like Jameson.
Okay.
And I have like a tiny little like half shot before I go on stage.
Yeah.
But that's
just to warm it,
just to loosen up a little bit.
I was going to ask you, like, how did you take the edge off for Ellen? Like, was it so big that you can't take the half shot of Jameson?
No, well, I didn't. Yeah, well, I tried to
breathing exercises.
No, I did some push-ups. But no, I was actually feeling really cool and calm. And then when I got out there and then she does the whole Dean Lewis, this many streams, and then the curtains open. I just was like, it just hit me all of a sudden. Like, but there's things you sort of can't prepare for. I think you just kind of got to play a lot of shows and hope your brain autopilots it. You know, where your hands just go to the right place.
Do you have like a workout regimen or a meal plan to keep from
on the road? It's tough.
Staying in shape on the road.
Yeah, we me and all the band's quite healthy. Like they're all like we're going to go for runs. Like we just started, so we're like all going to be running. And I go to the gym a little bit and I go for runs and I try to eat relatively healthy. But I love your American diners. Like, you know, I think I've told you about those. Like, I love them. I love those like the greasy eggs and they call you darling when you come in and they pour you a drink. I love it.
Me too.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's nice.
I think we all do.
Yeah,
it's like your mom's giving you a hug.
That's what it
and
is,
breakfast
away from home, and it's like I love it. So we're gonna try to find one after this.
Aww.
So, yeah, if you guys can.
We've got some recommendations.
Yeah, please.
Oh,
please.
absolutely.
Don't even worry about it. Yeah. Dean Lewis going to be at the Independent tonight in San Francisco. Sold out show. Very happy for you, man. Very proud to be a part of it early on here with Star 101.3. Go to the iHeartRadio app. Search out Dean Lewis. Go find the EP, Some Kind of Different. When can we expect like a full album?
Very soon. We're announcing it it's coming out very soon.
Okay.
Yeah, soon. So
and is there a specific social media that you're on more than the others?
Yeah, Instagram's one. I try to reply to a lot of people on Instagram, like in the comments. Like it's getting a bit out of control now, but I'm trying to still reply to.
What is the significance of the orange hearts on Instagram?
Oh, it's just like the theme, like the color of the Dean Lewis like writing is just orange. So I just thought I'm not very like creative, so I was just like, I'll just do orange hearts. That's basically it.
And why if I'm a Dean Lewis fan, why would you request an orange heart? Like what? So give me an example of an Instagram post where you would request that people put orange hearts.
I do these dumb posts where I'll just be like, I'll just sort of say, if you respect this post, put an orange heart. But it's all completely a joke. Like, but some people think I'm serious sometimes. Like, I think, like, are you actually? But my Instagram is basically.
Is that just like you're having your own little language with your fans?
Yeah,
right. It's like a little inside joke almost, but not a joke.
Absolutely, a little inside.
I like that
orange heart.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah. It's pretty silly.
Knowing who's actually reading the caption.
Exactly, it's a test to see who's
engaged enough.
Exactly.
Dean Lewis, congratulations on the success of Be All Right. By my calculations, we could have a number one song. I don't want to jinx it. Just saying. See how I said we?
Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate the support all from the start, and thanks for having me in so many times.
Absolutely. We'll see you next quarter.
Cheers. Yeah, see you in a couple of months.
All right, dude.